Hi everybody, I'm Vickie Harris with Best Friends Kitchen, and I had the unique opportunity to travel to Paris, Tennessee today to visit with a lovely lady who is a great veterinarian at the Paris Veterinary Clinic. Now, we want everybody at Best Friends Kitchen to have fun. When you're making meals for your pets, we want it to be a family affair. But there's some things that you also need to know when you're actually going to cook foods for your pets. You need to provide a balanced and nutritionally appropriate meal for them. And so that is some of what Dr. Kayla Mitchell is going to help us with today to kind of navigate those unique things when we decide that we do want to introduce some fresh foods into our pet's diet. So hi Kayla, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
Good. Good to have you with us.
Happy to be here.
How long have you been here at Paris Vet?
Well, I've only been here about 2 months.
Okay.
I was in Clarksville for about 3 years before I came out this way. So
okay. You like
rolling
it
on my second month. Yeah, I like it. I've lived here for a little while.
So, okay. So you're familiar with all the animals coming and going and
yeah,
like
it's
that.
a little adjustment, but I like it.
Good.
I like it.
Well, what we're here today is just to kind of help people to understand if this is what they want to do, they want to start introducing some fresh foods, how they do it. And of course, we always tell everybody, before you begin even changing anything in your pet's diet, you want to take them to the vet.
Yes,
correct.
Yeah, it's really important.
That's going to identify either just how healthy they are or if there's some special health issues that they might have that you can address those, correct?
Exactly.
If you are going to feed them, those types of things need to be addressed. Okay. Every pet is different.
Yeah, it's just like people. I mean, not every person can eat the same foods, and it's the same thing with dogs and cats. And mainly, it's because of different conditions that they can have. So, a dog that has chronic pancreatitis cannot be fed the same thing that a dog that's completely healthy can be fed.
Right.
And a cat that has chronic renal disease can't be fed the same diet that a young, healthy, happy cat is going to be fed. So there are a lot of things that play a role in what we're going to feed our pets.
And that's why it is important to go ahead and take them to the vet, because very quickly your vet can say, looks like your cat may be in the early stages of kidney disease, so these are some things you want to add to their diet or do for them, adding additional water, making sure that they're eating maybe more moist foods than drier foods,
exactly.
Things like that.
It's good to just get an overall picture and know what you should and should not do when you're going to change your diet.
Exactly. Now, there's a question that helps as you're leading into how do we feed our pets and everything, is just the basic, what would you say, not metabolism, it is metabolism, but the type of animal that what they can eat, like a dog's an omnivore, cat being obligate carnivore. What does that actually mean?
So what I would say is that I still think that dogs are carnivores. Okay. They're still under that taxonomy of a carnivore, but they're not obligate carnivores. Okay. So a cat's an obligate carnivore, which means they have to have animal protein to survive. They have to have those certain amino acids, they have to have those certain levels of fat and protein, and it's higher than dogs. Dogs still need to be fed protein. We know that, but they can survive on food that is not animal protein if they need to.
Right.
So I do think that they're still carnivores. They just don't have as strong of a need as animal protein as cats do. And cats cannot survive without animal protein.
Okay. That leads into something that I am asked quite often. Well, my dog is a descendant of a wolf. Now, shouldn't that mean that they're going to eat pure protein, raw bones, raw everything?
Yeah.
Now, Best Friends Kitchen has their own view about that, and I wanted to kind of see how, from a vet's perspective, what you guys feel.
Right. So, I mean, dogs are related to the wolf, we know that, but in the wild, a wolf will eat protein, but it's also going to scavenge on other things. So their primary diet may be solely protein, but they're going to eat fruits and plants and leaves and anything that they can find. Okay. The other thing to keep in mind is that your fluffy dog that lays on a really nice dog bed all day and goes outside just here and there is not a wolf and would probably not survive out in the wild just catching rabbits and eating like that alone. So I think it's important to know that things have adapted, and our dogs, our pets, our domesticated dogs are not wolves, and they're very, very different. Right. The other thing is that a wolf in the wild does not live as long as we would want our our pets to
Exactly,
live.
right.
So,
Our domesticated pets are living 14-something years.
Right.
What did you say the average in the wild?
it's about 7. So, you know, I think that it shows us that our diets that we give our dogs are better for them. Plus, they just don't need those needs that those wolves need. So I think that's important for people to keep in mind. And the other thing that's important is that raw diets can be dangerous for the pet, for the family, for the veterinary staff. You know, E. coli and salmonella is really prominent in raw diets.
Yes.
So you just have to make sure that you're using safe handling. And the other thing to keep in mind is bones and how they can cause GI obstructions and perforations, and you can end up bringing your dog in for surgery, which we're happy to do, but we would love to prevent if we can. So we just have to be really careful.
And those are things that, you know, should you feel very strongly that that is something that you do want to do, please consult your veterinarian.
Yes, we absolutely can give you tips on the best way to do it.
Right, if you're going to do it, here's how you do it, and making sure, like Kayla mentioned, that you have a good source of that protein so that you don't have to worry about the bacteria and things like that. So.
And the other thing that we have to remember is that a dog fed just raw chicken is not getting the nutrients that it needs, and we will end up with some serious health problems. So that's another thing to bring up to your vet. If you do want to feed raw meat, if you want to stick to a chicken diet, just know that your dog's going to be deficient in really, really important nutrients that they need. So we'll have to talk about supplements.
Right, and speaking of supplements, that is a very good thing to talk about. Now, I guess actually there's, again, depending on exercise, what all they get themselves into and everything, depends on how much protein, how much carbohydrates and everything that they need in their diet.
Right. So, you know, the dog's lifestyle and the cat's lifestyle makes a huge difference. So, you know, my sedentary 10-year-old Mastiff that doesn't move much doesn't need a ton of protein and fat, but a cat does need higher levels of protein and fat. And very active dogs, hunting dogs, working dogs, they need different levels. So it's the same within people. A very active person that, you know, is in sports or goes to the gym 7 days a week
exactly is going to require much more.
Yes.
And that's another part of what we say. Know your pet.
Yes.
You live with them. You know, do we go on walks? Do they lay on the couch? What do they do most often? And those types of things are going to play a part when you're fixing a meal to know just how much. Now, sometimes they'll say, well, we need maybe 50% protein, 40% vegetables, 10% starch. That might be a good starting spot.
Correct.
But again, knowing your pet and knowing its lifestyle and its health needs and everything like that. Now, if you are still concerned, and there's lots of different ways, I say you can be a novice and you can say, I just want to add a little something to my pet's food. Occasionally I'm going to go ahead and stick with a good quality kibble. And I just want to add, I know that we're big chicken eaters or whatever. We love to have a steak occasionally. So, you know, my dog is always sitting there looking at me, you know, and they're so social. You know, they want to be where you are and they want to do what you're doing. And the kids and everybody want to go like this, you know. So what you're trying to discourage is table scraps.
Yeah, so there are some table scraps that are okay. So if you've got a plate and you've got some steamed vegetables on there, some carrots, some green beans, absolutely give those as treats. But you want to stay away from that fatty steak or that pizza or fried chicken that you have, because one, dogs don't process fat as well as humans do, and so pancreatitis is a big problem in our pets. That's where they get too much fat, their pancreas gets really inflamed, and they get very ill. I mean, they can be as sick as that they can actually die from pancreatitis. So we want to avoid foods that are going to do that. The other thing is that obesity is a big problem too. So if we're feeding really high fatty foods, then we're going to get these big overweight couch potato dogs that are going to have other health problems because of that. So I say stick to those veggies. You know, one little veggie is basically no calories. So go ahead and give them some steamed vegetables. I think it's good, and maybe a little piece of some grilled chicken or chicken that doesn't have a bunch of seasonings or fat on it.
Something that's very lean. And a lot of times that's not what is on your plate. So at Best Friends Kitchen, that's what we're trying to teach you is when you start out with a meal, have your pets in mind. Thinking, okay, I might like to feed them a little bit of this chicken, or they're saying pork is, like you were talking about it, an alternate, and we'll talk about that in a minute, an alternate protein.
Other proteins, absolutely.
think about that and prepare that meat individually or those vegetables individually before you add seasonings, before you add anything. Take that portion out, set it aside, and then you continue on with what you're doing. So as you're sitting down, you know, it's, I already had this prepared for them and they can have that.
And you've got your little treat bowl on the table, and that way you don't take away, because that's a really, really good bonding for us with our pets, is we give them treats. Food is love. That's what a lot of people, that's how we look at our pets. So if you really, really have to feed your pet from the table, have a bowl of green beans there, or carrots, or zucchini, or blueberries, some things that you don't take away that bond, and you still get to have that moment where you're eating so they get to eat, and they don't know that you're not eating carrots.
What they're eating.
They have no idea. So I think that's a really good way to do it. And that's another good thing that you can do in their diet anyway. So if we've got to work on weight loss, and say we want to cut back on the food they're getting, well, we don't want them to be hungry. Because that's not fair either. So you supplement with green beans or carrots or blueberries, you're going to add food without adding a lot of calories. So it's a good thing to think about.
And we're finding that I have a dog that has, I guess it's acid reflux, gastritis, that type of thing. And so that is, keeping them full is a big key to that. But again, if you're going to be giving them dry kibble all the time, no matter what it is, you're adding the calories and, and all of that. So we're learning the fresh vegetables and fruits and things that he likes that we can give him midway through the day. And I think it's great. And we're actually feeding it. Now, how do you feel about how many times you feed your pet? Because they're coming out with things that breakfast is important like it is for us. It is for your pet, because the longer times, you know, if you feed your pet one time a day, they're going a long time in between having meals.
And we're giving them one large meal at one time, which is not really good for metabolism and digestion. So I do think that feeding twice a day is ideal. Some pets you've got to feed 3 times a day. Maybe they need a little meal in the afternoon because they do have acid reflux or something like that. But I think that twice a day is important, and I have seen weight loss achieved much quicker if we go from 1 meal a day to 2, because that splits up the calories, it boosts up their metabolism, and I think that it ends up
stops them from wanting to just gorge on it. I mean, they do. They get very hungry. And just like we do.
I wouldn't want to eat once a day.
No. So perfect.
My dogs would be upset with me.
Well, and back to the nutritional part, there is something that you clued me into. I've known about it for several years. Tried not to use too many supplements, trying to, you know, stay with something that was easier, because I thought that would be easier for pet parents. Found out there is a wonderful thing that was developed by veterinarians that for those of us who really want to cook for them, want to try to do as much as we can in the fresh, you know, foods, that will help us be sure that we can maintain all of the vitamins and minerals and fatty acids and everything that they need. And it's called Balance It.
So Balanceitcom is a website that you can go to, and you can even pick certain conditions like arthritis or kidney disease or pancreatitis, and they will give you a list of ingredients and recipes that would be healthy for your pet. And when you plug all that stuff in, you can look at what they're going to be nutritionally deficient in, what they're going to need supplemented. You also can just type in the food that you like to eat. So say you really are a big chicken person, you want to make your dog a chicken diet. Well, you put in those ingredients that you like, they'll come up with a recipe, and then if it's going to be deficient in something, you can get the minerals and the supplements that you can add to the food so that they are completely balanced, because that is really important. We can't just feed our dogs chicken and green beans and expect them to be completely balanced and get all of the nutrients that they need. And
just like us.
Exactly, and cats that need such higher doses of amino acids than a dog does. If you just feed it one thing, it's not going to be well-rounded, which is important. The other thing that I think is really important with that is there are a lot of commercial dog foods, and you know, most of them are completely balanced. They've been studied, they've been looked at by AFCO, but some of them aren't, and so that's something that you really have to look at when you're going to buy a commercial dog food, is to make sure that it has been looked at and is completely balanced. And the completely balanced does come from all of these additives that Balance It is giving you. Correct. So in other words, this kibble is the vehicle that is delivering, plus some of the protein and stuff like that, this type of thing. So I found it really wonderful. Take one of my recipes that you like, that you say, oh, I really want to do that tonight. Go plug in some of those ingredients and Balance It.
then it tells you if you're feeding this tonight, they're going to need 2 tablespoons of Balance-It.
Correct.
And that's how you know, okay, well, tonight this may not be as balanced as it needs to be.
Right.
Because they can't have everything that I'm having tonight.
Right. Right.
But I can fix that by adding Balance-It to it. And they also have Balance-It for cats. They have it in a kidney, it's K or something, for those with renal disease.
Yeah, they have a bunch of different supplements that are available
so
for
it's
you.
awesome. That is your go-to, I would say, for anybody that's going to do anything like this.
If you want to do home-cooked meals, which I think is great if you can, if you have the time and the money to do it and you're going to do it right, I think it's great. I think it's hard for a lot of people, but if you can, do it, and then just make sure that you're doing it the right way and you're visiting Balanceitcom and you get the nutrients that they need, and so we know that they're well-rounded.
Right, because we will sometimes scrimp on us. You know, we'll come in and we'll grab something really quickly and everything, but that's the point. We don't want to do that for our pets. You know, they're part of our family, and we're trying really hard, all of us, you know, to stay away from the things we're not supposed to eat. So don't shortchange your pets either. I always say if you won't eat it, don't feed it to your dog.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
So there's other things that I would like for you to talk about that are just part of keeping your pets happy and healthy. And you know, some people, there's questions about, do we vaccinate, how often, what types, what's a good thing. So this is a good time to have a veterinarian approach those things as well.
Sure. So as a veterinarian, obviously I think vaccines are incredibly important, but one of my main goals and one of all veterinarians' goals are disease prevention.
Yes.
And it is so important that we can prevent diseases and that we do it. Whether that's heartworm disease with heartworm prevention or viruses like parvovirus or feline leukemia virus, we can prevent those diseases. And I think it's unfortunate that we have to watch some pets suffer and potentially die from diseases that we can prevent with a vaccine.
Right.
And I'm not for over-vaccinating. Puppies don't need vaccinated every week for 10 weeks. That's overdoing it. But we do vaccinate them a little bit more to build up their immunity. And then after that, we vaccinate them every 1 to 3 years, depending on the vaccines you gave and their age and that type of thing. And I think it's really important for their overall health. You know, we diagnose heartworm disease here at this clinic multiple times a week, every week, all year round. So something that we can prevent with a monthly pill or a 6 or 12-month injection to prevent a deadly disease, I think is important. And you know, we also see parvovirus all the time and leukemia virus, and I mean it's just kind of unfortunate. But if we can prevent something, we should do it. And I think that that's really important that you know we think of it like that, because it's not worth seeing our pets suffer with something that can be prevented.
And just like us, the benefits far outweigh if you've ever watched an animal die from heartworms or parvo, distemper, those types of things. Those are excruciating, and many times, especially the parvo and distemper, they're babies. They didn't even get a chance. And so all of that is just part of being a responsible pet parent. And Best Friends Kitchen, that's what we're all about. It's just trying to teach you how to take care of your furry family members just as like you take care of everybody else.
Exactly.
Is there anything that you could sum up? I mean, in overall of everything, what would you say you would like to say to a pet parent? This is what I would tell you, and then go forth and do good.
So I think that diets are really hard, and we get asked every day, what should I feed my pet? I don't know what to feed it. I'm feeding it this. Should I change it? That type of thing. And diet is a hard thing to talk about because, like you mentioned earlier, every pet is different, and they're not the same across the board. I think some big things that we need to pay attention to and really, you know, make it important in our decision making is if we're going to feed an over-the-counter diet, you know, let's say that homemade diets just isn't an option, so we want to feed an over-the-counter. Stick to a company that has been around and knows what they're doing, and they're good at it. And you know, there are a lot of companies that I can recommend, and there are some that I wouldn't. And I think a lot of veterinarians are on the same boat as far as that goes. So that's one thing, is just make sure you're not feeding the bottom of the barrel dog food, for sure. It's, you know, we wouldn't eat fast food every day for every meal, so that's basically the same with your pet. The other thing is that you want to make sure you're getting the right type of food. So looking and making sure it's for the right age. So either puppy or kitten or all life stages or senior. The other thing is looking at that AFCO statement. So looking for that on the bag of food to say, okay, I know that this is completely balanced. I don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
I would steer clear of raw, but if that's what you want to do, let's just make sure we're safe about it and that it's, again, completely balanced. And then if you are up for making homemade food, I think it's great. I think that we can, you know, talk to your veterinarian, see what type of diet your pet may need to be on, and then let's make sure that we go to balance it. It's completely balanced, and then we're keeping up with visits to make sure that our weights are staying good and we're not changing our hair coat or our teeth or anything like that. So I think just staying really well communicated with your veterinarian is important. And we're here for you. We're here to give you advice and help you through changes. So
and go slow. Always go slow. Don't
go from one dog food to a homemade diet and overnight, because they'll probably get some GI upset.
So and then you'll think, oh, I've done it wrong. I can't ever do this again.
Absolutely do it gradual.
It was such a pleasure, and I know everyone is going to really benefit from this, because when you go into changing your pet's diet or doing anything different, we love them, we don't want to harm them. So we always want to know that we have done everything we can.
Absolutely.
And being able to talk to you today should help everybody to feel a little bit better about doing that. And then go to your own vet, tell them what you want to do, and I'm sure that they will help you. And they love your pets just as much as you do.
Absolutely. And if you ever want to go even a step further and talk to a nutritionist, there are plenty out there that are veterinary related, so we can help you go that way too.
Well, Kayla, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
And please join us at Best Friends Kitchen, and that's bestfriendskitchen.org. And we also have a Patreon channel, Best Friends Kitchen. And don't forget, Best Friends Kitchen totally benefits the Music City Animal Rescue in Nashville, Tennessee. So your support of all of this will help us continue at Music City to do what we love, which is rescue and help abandoned, abused pets all across Middle Tennessee. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.